welcome to Talk Time Election Special. My guest today is veteran Congress leader Mr. Jairam Ramesh, former Union Minister and now the AICC observer for the elections in Manipur. Mr. Jairam Ramesh, welcome to this special edition of Talk Time.
Thank you for having me, Wasbir.
Pleasure is mine. Mr. Jairam Ramesh, how important are the elections in Manipur for the Congress party? Because during the last elections in 2017, the Congress in Manipur won as many as 28 seats, just 3 short of the majority mark, but yet the party was almost caught napping.
Well, in 2017, Wasbir, the mandate was for the Congress. We were the single largest party. But the BJP used unconstitutional, undemocratic means to cobble together a majority and they formed the government. And we have seen the result of those 5 years of BJP rule in Manipur. Democracy has been stifled, civil liberties have been destroyed, economic growth has come to a standstill, the diversity of Manipur is under threat. And so for us, this election in 2022, on February 27th and in early March are very crucial. They are, yesterday we have released our manifesto, and that manifesto is both an agenda for survival of Manipur and an agenda for revival of Manipur.
Okay, I'll come to that. It's a very interesting coinage that you said that the manifesto is a manifesto for survival and revival. I'll come to that. But Mr. Jairam Ramesh, it seems to be a free-for-all in Manipur. Partymen from your party seems to be the most affected because party leaders joining the BJP, and of course, it's the vice versa. People from BJP have also come and joined your party. So now it seems to be a free-for-all. Where is the ideology? Ideology doesn't seem to matter anymore. You cannot blame the BJP on this because everybody seems to be keeping their quote-unquote doors open.
Well, I think the BJP is making huge investments and is using all means, including, for example, using the JDU as a B team. What is the JDU in Manipur? It's basically a B team for the Chief Minister of Manipur. Yes, I admit that people have left the Congress party in the last couple of years. Some people have joined the Congress party. I wish, in politics, not just in Manipur, but across the country, across India, in state after state, ideology becomes the foundation for political activity and political mobilization. Unfortunately, in state after state, and Manipur is no exception, personal ambition takes priority over political ideology. I mean, take your Chief Minister of Assam, he is a congressman. Take the Chief Minister of Arunachal Pradesh, he is a congressman. The Chief Minister of Manipur himself was a congressman, and he was a minister in earlier Congress governments. So yes, I agree. Ideology has tended to get weakened in the last couple of years, and I think that is because of the BJP's strategy in the northeast is to come to power hook or by crook.
No. You are saying that you are putting the blame on the BJP. You are saying that you have accused the BJP of investing a lot. You are indicating basically that BJP is paying money to come and join them. But the same has been true. BJP, you have been embracing people from the BJP the moment they wanted to join your party. That has happened in Manipur. So does anyone have the moral authority to blame any party in India today?
I'm sorry, we are not enticing people. People who are fed up with the BJP come and join us. Whereas the BJP is enticing people from the Congress. They are luring people, they have lured people, not only from the Congress but from other political parties, and not just in Manipur, in other states as well. So, people join the Congress, because maybe they are fed up with the BJP's ideology, with the BJP's tactics. So, but as I said, my own view is that Indian politics, not just in Manipur, but in all states of India, could do with more principles, could do with more values, could do with more ideology, and and less of a becomes less of a marketplace where bargaining takes place and people go to the highest bidder.
So you have seen it all. You are veteran. You are a veteran in Indian politics, Mr. Jairam Ramesh. Does it worry you, in the broader sense? I'm not talking in the context of Manipur. Does it worry you as a political leader? What message does the people get with this kind of behavior by the political players?
I don't disagree with you, Wasbir. There are times in which I myself, I am deeply worried and deeply disappointed in state after state. Barring a few states maybe where ideology is still very important, for example, like in Kerala. But in state after state, we find ideology being forgotten, principles being forgotten, values being forgotten, and people leaving, people, most recently, for example, in the case of the Rajya Sabha, for example, my own good friend Bhubaneswar Kalita, chief whip of the Congress party, former
Yeah.
PCC president in Assam, overnight, joins the BJP. And there are multiple examples like this. Take Mr. Jyotiraditya Scindia, or take Jiten Prasad, or take RPN Singh. I mean, very clearly, these are all people who do not have the appetite for fighting the BJP. Politics is about politics is a battle of ideas. Politics is a battle
Now,
of ideologies, and if you don't
right.
have fire, then you're bound to make compromises. And people like Kalita, Scindia, Jiten Prasad, RPN Singh, they've all made compromises.
Absolutely. Now, Mr. Ramesh, you said that the JDU in Manipur is a B team of the BJP. Now, my question is, you see, the National People's Party led by Mr. Conrad Sangma. Now, how do you see the NPP? Because NPP has said that they were an ally of the BJP. Suddenly, they are saying that they will contest. They have already announced the candidates of 42, 43 seats they are contesting. Now, would you consider the NPP seriously as an anti-BJP force, or would you consider the NPP as a B team?
I do not consider the NPP as an independent political force. They are if they had so much principle and if they had so much of problems with the BJP's governance, why did they continue to be in the government? It's as much a B team of the BJP as the JDU is. Maybe the NPP is a B team of the BJP and the JDU is a B team of the Chief Minister. But the fact of the matter is that both the JDU and the NPP are B teams.
Now, that brings me to the question, Mr. Jairam Ramesh. You have said that the JDU is a B team of the Chief Minister, but so that means the JDU you are saying is a B team of the BJP. You are also saying that the NPP is clearly a B team of the BJP. That means, my question is, don't you think that the BJP in Manipur in that case is very firmly poised? If they don't get the numbers themselves, they have the NPP to fall back upon, or for that matter, whatever the JDU wins.
I'm very clear, Wasbir. Any vote for the JDU is a vote for the BJP. Any vote for the NPP is also a vote for the BJP. And I would like to be proven wrong, but look at the track record in the last 5 years. The NPP has remained part of the ruling coalition. They never abandoned the coalition.
Therefore,
they didn't abandon, they didn't, if they had so much of problems with the way the BJP governs, as they seem to think that they have, they're very much, I agree, they don't have a pre-poll alliance. They're fighting as an independent political formation like the JDU is. But we all know that the JDU, JDU is very much a part of the NDA. The JDU and the BJP are in alliance in Bihar, and in Manipur, it really is an extension of the Chief Minister.
Now, Therefore, would you admit that the Congress in Manipur is, facing a very tough fight, because not just the BJP you have to contend with, but you have to fight the other two parties, that is the NPP, JDU.
Absolutely not. First of all, the Congress has a strong presence across Manipur. In every constituency we have a presence. In all regions of the state we have a presence. This afternoon, as I speak to you today, on the 5th of February, this afternoon, we are announcing an alliance, a pre-poll alliance with the left parties, with the CPI, the CPM, the RSP, and the Forward Bloc, which also has a cadre, which also has a presence across the state. So we are today announcing a pre-poll alliance with the 4 political parties. We tried for a pre-poll alliance with the NCP, but we could not succeed. But we certainly have a pre-poll alliance with the 4 left parties. So it's not, and we are a very strong presence across the state. As you yourself started this conversation by pointing to the fact that in 2017 we were the single largest party with 28 MLAs, with just 3 short of a majority. So I think the Congress party faces challenges, no doubt. It's not easy. It's a tough contest. We are fighting a political force which is very well funded. We are fighting the BJP, which is sparing no expense to make sure that it wins. But we are confident that the people of the state will give us a renewed mandate this year. I mean, in the coming few weeks.
Now, where is this confidence coming from, Mr. Jairam Ramesh?
The confidence is coming from our own assessments. The confidence is coming from our own feedback from multiple sources. The confidence is coming from our own assessment that this government of the BJP in the last 5 years has failed miserably on all fronts, and basically is destroying the very essence, the very soul, the very culture, the very diversity of this wonderful state of Manipur. So our confidence is not born out of arrogance. Our confidence is not born out of any hallucinations or dreams. This is hard feedback, and this is assessments, and our own. After all, a political party has multiple sources of its own feedback and its own information.
Right. Now, the other day, one of the Congress leaders from Manipur was on my show, and when I asked him the question, now the NPP is saying that they are going to emerge as the largest single party and they are going to replace the BJP. I asked a question to your party colleague from Manipur. He said that we don't rule out a possible alliance with the NPP even. If necessary, we are ready to align with anybody who manages to defeat the BJP.
Well, Wasbir, it's too premature now to talk about post-poll scenarios. The Congress's objective right now, our single point objective, is to get a majority on our own, and we believe that we will get a majority on our own. What happens after the 10th of March, I think it's too premature, and I think it's all hypothetical scenarios, whatever we talk today. But I can tell you one thing, that there can never be any relationship, never any understanding between the Congress and the BJP. We are fundamentally opposed to the BJP. So we are going into this election with the single overriding objective of coming to power on our own. What happens after the results are announced? Let's wait till the results are announced.
Absolutely. I take that point. Now, another very interesting development we saw in the last couple of days was your party candidates taking oath in various religious places, promising not to desert the party after the results. Now, what does it indicate? Your critics are saying that you are afraid there is a possibility of further desertions, and that is the only reason why your candidates
No, I
carried out
don't.
such kind of an action.
I don't think so. I think this was a reaffirmation of our commitment to secular principles, which is respect and accommodation of different faiths. I think it's a good exercise. It's, by the way, it was done not just in Manipur. It's been done in Goa as well, and other parties also have done this. No, I think it gives the candidates a sense of belonging. It gives the candidates a sense of camaraderie, and the fact that these were very powerful symbols of Manipur's diversity. Particularly on the religious front, Manipur is diverse on various
Right.
fronts. It's not just religiously diverse, it's ethnically diverse, it's linguistically diverse, it's geographically diverse, but these are symbols of diversity. And I think the fact that we took this pledge, it puts some self-discipline is always good.
Now, coming to that very interesting coinage, that this when you released the manifesto yesterday, that is Friday, Mr. Jairam Ramesh, that you called a manifesto of survival and revival of Manipur. Would you like to elaborate a little bit on this?
Well, Wasbir, as you know, I'm very familiar with Manipur, and I've been coming here for many, many years.
Yes.
You see, what has happened in the last 5 years, the civil liberties have been destroyed, freedoms are under threat, democratic voices have been stifled, civil society, journalists, NGOs have all been targeted, and frankly, Manipur, the independent, the uniqueness, the special nature of Manipur has been sought to be destroyed. Because it became part of this whole RSS agenda. So, what I mean by saying survival is the survival of the culture, the diversity, the democracy, the freedoms of Manipur. At the same time, survival alone is not enough. You need revival. You need revival on electricity, revival of infrastructure, revival of jobs, revival in agriculture. So, there is both survival element and revival element, and I am very clear in my mind that Manipur cannot be part of a larger RSS agenda, which it is, with the BJP in power. Manipur is unique, Manipur is distinctive, Manipur is special in terms of religion, in terms of language, in terms of ethnicity, in terms of geography. In terms of its challenges, and that's only the Congress can respect that, accommodate that, and work and be comfortable with that. So, this is what I meant by saying that this is the real double engine. It's a survival engine and a revival engine. That's the real double engine. The Naren Biren double engine is a fraudulent double engine. The Naren Biren double engine is a trouble engine. But the real double engine is the survival revival manifesto.
But the BJP in Manipur is saying it was only during their tenure that they could have able to bring the railways to Manipur, bring about development, bridge the valley and the hills divide in Manipur, return to the hills, go to the hills was one of the slogans of Biren Singh, the chief minister, and so on and so forth. How do you respond to that?
These are all ongoing projects, Wasbir. Anybody who has any knowledge of ground realities on how projects are implemented, particularly in geographically difficult terrains, will know that it takes years for projects to be implemented. Some of the projects which have been launched in the last 5 years were ongoing projects for which the BJP is taking the credit. I think they are completely wrong, and they've tried to. Sometimes the things that had been inaugurated launched during the Congress regime were relaunched during the BJP regime. So, I do not set a great store by this.
Right, and another very major promise that the Congress election manifesto has made, the party has made in its manifesto, is to provide 50,000 jobs in a year. My question is, in a small state like Manipur, do you think that is practical, or do you think
It's
many
very
your critics would
practical.
call it an election plan, election gimmick?
No, it's very practical because I don't think we have exhausted the full potential of public sector jobs. Jobs as teachers, jobs as doctors, jobs in the state administration. It's a combination of both public sector jobs and private sector jobs. But we have not fully exhausted the full potential. Ultimately, we have realized, even the Modi government has realized, ultimately there is no alternative to the public sector. And public sector employment. India needs more doctors, India needs more teachers, India needs more health professionals, and so does Manipur, for example. So, a lot of these jobs will get created in the public sector, but there will also be private sector jobs through private investment, particularly in the services industry, in the IT industry, in the logistics industry, and so on.
Another thing that the people would want to know, Mr. Jairam Ramesh, is as to why is the Congress manifesto in Manipur silent on the Armed Forces Special Powers Act, whereas outside
I don't think
you
we
are
are silent.
targeting the
I don't think
BJP
we are
over it
silent.
in recent times.
Wasbir, I don't think we are silent. I think yesterday, when the manifesto was released, there was a separate module that we talked about the Armed Forces Special Provision Act. I don't think we are silent. I don't think we are silent. You please have a look at the manifesto.
Right, and another thing, the shadow of insurgency. Whenever there is elections in Manipur, the shadow of insurgency looms large. It has always been the case. Now, in the 75 years of independence, it is the Congress party that has been in power the maximum amount of time. The question obviously would be, why had the Congress failed to open negotiations with the insurgent groups in Manipur, unlike in Assam or neighboring Nagaland?
Well, I think, as you know, Wasbir, the Congress was in power for 15 years. You know the circumstances under which the Congress came to power in 2002. It was a very troubled period in Manipur, and it was under extraordinarily difficult circumstances that the Congress came to power. So, the first 5 to 7 years were built stabilizing the situation, and then restarting the momentum and the pace of developmental activities. Side by side, negotiations had taken place and were continued with insurgent groups. But you see, the negotiations with insurgents and the negotiations with underground groups do not take place through the media, Wasbir. There is no running ball by ball commentary that can be given on these negotiations. Negotiations, to be effective, have to be done in a quiet manner, in a low key manner, in a less public manner, and these negotiations continued and have continued over the last few years. It's been a continuing process, and that's the way these negotiations should be, because these are difficult issues that have to be resolved.
Right. Now, before wrapping up, Mr. Jairam Ramesh, who is going to be the Congress's chief ministerial candidate? Are you projecting Mr. Ibobi Singh, the former chief minister, or you are open to that question also?
As you know, Wasbir, the philosophy, the policy of the Congress has been that we never go to the elections declaring a candidate. Under rarest of rare circumstances, we have done it. But normally, the Congress policy always has been that, unless it's a sitting CM, it's always been that, we go to the people with a manifesto, we go to the people with a program, We go to the people, asking the people for a vote of confidence and trust in the Congress party. The MLAs will then meet, the people who get elected will then will meet and will select the leader, who then becomes the chief minister of the state. That's the policy
Right.
that we have always
Right.
adopted. We are not asking the people of Manipur for a vote for an individual. We are asking them to vote for the Congress party. We are asking them to vote for the Congress ideology. We are asking them to vote for the Congress programs, for the Congress policies,
Right.
for the
Now-
Congress
now,
values,
who will be-
for the Congress
who-
values.
Mr.
It's respect for
Absolutely.
diversity. It's respect
Yeah.
for diversity, and it's long years of experience in providing an administration.
Finally, who is your bigger rival? Is it the BJP, is it the NPP, or is it both?
Our biggest rival is the BJP in its various avatars. You know, the BJP has as I told you, the JDU is one avatar of the BJP, and you know, the NPP is also in many ways an avatar. You know, if they continued in the governing coalition, they never took steps to dissociate themselves. Although now they are wanting to fight. They are fighting as an independent political force. So yes, you know, we are fighting the BJP. The BJP is our primary target. After all, it's the BJP government. It's a BJP led government. It's the BJP chief minister. It's the BJP prime minister. It's the RSS which is providing the lubricant for the government. So our primary opponent is certainly the BJP.
Mr. Jairam Ramesh, they are always forthright and articulate. Thanks very much indeed once again for speaking to you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Wasbir. Thank you.
Pleasure.